Hello, today we're going to do something slightly different. For those who don't know, I do like running, and I frequently do couch to 5K apps because TLDR, where I live, it gets very snowy in the winter to the point that a lot of the sidewalks and streets just become fully icy, and there's often like a couple of weeks where you just you can't really run. It becomes a slip and slide, and I don't really like running in the winter in general. So I end up having to retrain myself every spring, basically. And so I have tried to use a couple of apps. These are the two that I've enjoyed the most, and I thought that I would do a quick review. I know that I should have probably done this in spring, but you know what? We're going to do it now. So this is going to be my Zombies Run 5K versus Just Run comparison, because these are the two apps that I have been using and enjoyed. So before we start, I want to give some notes. First of all, I played both apps twice. So over 4 seasons, basically, I finished the Just Run 5K and I realized, oh, I've done these both twice. So this would actually be a good opportunity. So I've doing a little science here. Neither of the apps have ads, which is fantastic. They're both available on iOS and Android. Both of them follow a 3 times per week workout schedule. A warm-up is included in both. If you miss a workout, the app will adjust the days automatically, which is nice. So basically, it'll say, if you start on Monday, it'll recommend, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But then if, say, you miss it on Wednesday, then it'll readjust it to Thursday and Saturday. So, or if you do it in a day in advance, same, kind of idea. So that's really nice. And then it should be noted that the Zombies Run 5K app is an extension of the main Zombies Run app. Zombies Run is a running app that is basically structured as this big overarching story, and it kind of intersperses these quote-unquote radio transmissions between, music or a podcast or whatever else you want to listen to. And so you experience the story as you're running, which is really fun. I've been doing it for a good couple of years. It should be noted that a good couple of years means I'm a legacy user, as in I've been using the app I bought the app in 2015 or something, and I've been using it on and off for years. So I do have a little bit of loyalty to the main app, not so much the 5K app though. Although it should be noted that you do not have to play both. You can do the regular app and never touch the 5K app and you won't miss anything, and you can do the 5K app and never play the main app, and again, you won't miss anything. They do work well in tandem, obviously, but it's not necessary. The stories are completely separate. Anyways, those were just my notes before I start my review. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the pros of each app, then the cons. These are from a user interface sort of perspective of the actual app. And then I'm going to talk about my experience with the app. So we're going to start with Zombies Run 5K, just a little bit of information. It was developed by a company called 6 to Start. It's an 8-week program. The data it collects is your location, email address, and user ID, app interactions, app info, performance, devices, or other IDs. So pretty standard. And then the first 3 weeks are free. The rest of the app, though, is $3.99 USD as a one-time purchase, or it's free if you have a Zombies Run subscription. So that is to note. Also, there might be a little bit of bias here because, again, as I said, I'm a legacy user, which means I don't get any special features or anything like that, but it does mean that I get, my Zombies Run is $20 a year as opposed to $40. So just to note. And so let's talk about the pros of Zombies Run. So there is a built-in storyline for entertainment, which is really good if you struggle to motivate yourself. Gives you a reason to go running. It tracks your route, distances, pace. This is where some of the tracking of the data collection comes into play. It's very easy to change the units, which is nice, between miles and kilometers. It can also sync your progress to your account. So if you create an account, which is where the email collection comes in, you can then, view your progress and view the runs that you've done on the website, as well as the main Zombies Run app, which I have on my phone, and I can see when I did the 5K app. It also has a very immersive and interesting interface, and I'll show you a little bit here. You can see that it has this kind of bulletin board style, which is kind of, fits with the whole zombie apocalypse vibe of the app. The story is about, a zombie apocalypse sort of situation. And so I find it immersive. I like it. It's also very easy to select and integrate a playlist and music library into, your run. So I have a playlist that I use, and I'll put a link to that if you're interested. It's all apocalyptic themed music, which is kind of fun. And then something that I like about it is that the music stops entirely to play the prompts and story clips, and it should also be noted that the prompts are very in character, which is kind of nice. Those are the pros of the Zombies Run 5K app. The cons are obviously that you have to pay for it. That always sucks. It is a bit laggy on older phones. It's a little annoying to navigate throughout the weekly submenus, especially with the laggy aspect of it, because it would take me a full minute just to get to week 8 by the time it was I ended it. So ended the program. So that was really annoying. Obviously not great that it collects user data, but that's true for most apps. There's no cooldown integrated into the training session, which I am not a fan of. I like having cooldowns integrated into it. So those are the pros and cons of the app from the app itself, I guess. But from an experience perspective, these are just my experience and then some kind of pros and cons listed within it. So from a stats perspective, I ran 6.59 kilometers and 7.34 kilometers on the last day, which is obviously more than 5K. I ran my first 5K on week 3, workout 2. So if you're like me, I don't know where you are at your running journey. If you're like me and you're pretty decent at running already, you probably won't even have to pay for the full experience, because you'll just finish your 5K in the first 3 weeks. Again, as I mentioned briefly, the story is really motivating. This is what I think the biggest sell for the Zombies Run 5K app is because, if you really struggle to motivate yourself, like I used to really struggle to motivate myself to run, the story is makes it worth it, because it's, you finish your run and you're like, well, what's going to happen next, right? And so then you look forward to the next run. So I think that was the main selling point for the Zombies Run 5K. One big criticism I have, major criticism I have, is that there is way too much stop and start. The thing is that it'll make you start stretching and doing exercises like calf raises or lunges or whatever, just in the middle of the workout, which is really irritating. And it's actually really egregious on the very last day, second to last day. The next day you're supposed to do your final 5K run. And the day before, it literally makes you stop halfway through the workout and is okay, now stretch for 2 minutes. Bro, why would I stretch for 2 minutes? Your muscles are going to get cooled down, and if you're self-conscious, you're going to feel a little weird just running and then walking and then just stopping and randomly doing lunges and calf raises and then just continuing to walk or run. It's really a bit weird. The second time I did it, I just started walking. I stopped doing the exercises. I just found it really awkward. I found that my muscles were cooling down too much, and so I just was walking during those sections, which is well, that's not really the point of the app. But especially if you pay for it for just this app and not for the main Zombies Run app, it's well, what's the point of doing it, right? I also find that the 10-minute warm-up is extremely excessive. You do not need to walk for 10 minutes to warm up. 5 minutes is enough. Just throwing that out there. I also find that it doesn't build a ton of endurance, but it was great for distance. The reason that I ran so far on my last days is because I couldn't run for a very long time. I think I could run for 5 minutes, maximum, and I was really pushing myself there. I think I ran 7 minutes once while doing this particular app. And so I built no endurance, but again, I was running really far within those short bursts of speed. And so it's really good for distance. And then the big downside is that, for me, is that the build and storyline for entertainment is very repetitive if you stop running and need to restart regularly. So, for example, like if you stop running in the winter like I do, like it's, within a year, you're going to remember the story, right? Like if you watch a movie and then watch a movie a year later, you're going to remember the beats of the story. And so for this, when I was doing it the second time, I was like, I remember this already. Like, I don't need to, like, none of the story is fresh or entertaining anymore because I already know what's going to happen. And so, it is repetitive. And that's just something to note if you're the kind of person that needs to retrain yourself. But if you don't have that problem like I do, then you're going to be totally fine doing this once and then not doing it again. So that is my Zombies Run 5K experience. And now we're going to talk about Just Run. So Just Run is developed by a company called Jubilee, who I'm pretty sure is just one person. It's a 9-week program. It doesn't collect any data, and the entire 5K and 10K programs are free. That's actually really nice about Just Run, is that there is a Couch to 5K and 5K to 10K program, which is what I'm currently doing, which is free. And then there is a paid option, which unlocks different voices and interface colors, but it's completely optional, and it doesn't change the overall experience. I'm definitely going to be buying it, just purely to support the developer. So let's talk about the pros of Just Run. It's extremely easy to follow. It's literally just start running and start walking. It tells you when you're halfway through, which is very helpful. So, which is actually quite satisfying if you're running and then if you do the same route every day, you get that, you're halfway there, turn around, like a little further every day, which is really nice. There's also, what's nice about it is that the menu is all on one page, so there's no sub-menus. There's no sign-up required. There's no tracking or data collection, which is definitely a breath of fresh air in today's, app landscape. The warm-up and cool-down are included in the training sessions, and it should be noted that when I include my total distances in this, is that I'm including my warm-up and cool-down, which is just walking, so 5-minute walk, 5-minute, walk at the end too. So that's part of it. This is the most bare bones Couch to 5K app I could find. Again, there's no signups, nothing complicated about it. It's literally just a lady in your ear that will, at the right time, tell you to start running, to start walking, and when to turn around because you're halfway through. It's really, it's as bare bones simple as it gets. Now, the cons of Just Run are interestingly basically the pros, in that, sure, there's no sign up, but there's no sign up in that if you you'll lose your progress if you delete the app. There's no tracking, which means you have to calculate the distance and pace yourself. It does not integrate playlist music or podcasts, which is, because it doesn't have any other app interactions. You can't within the app say, okay, I want to use this playlist. You'll have two apps running at the same time. So you have to provide your own entertainment. Music and podcasts, or whatever you're listening to, fades during the prompts rather than stopping. So if you're listening to a podcast, for example, as I did the first time that I used Just Run, I'd have to go back a couple of seconds because I would miss what was being said because, the little lady would be saying, start walking. And then there's this locking feature that they have, which I don't personally find helpful. It's basically so that you can leave the app open, but it won't mess up anything on the screen. You can touch the screen, or if it's running, or if it's in your pocket or whatever, you can touch the screen, but it won't exit the app or pause it by accident or anything like that. So it just it locks the screen. And then from an experience perspective, I ran 5.89 kilometers and 5.7 kilometers on the last day. Although again, as I said, I do include that warm up and cool down walk. And given that I walk about half a kilometer or less, there's definitely a possibility that I did not actually run 5K at the end of this, using this program. I really think that I ran 4.8 or something like that. I don't think that I ran a full 5K. And then I did my first 5K on week 7, workout 3. So pretty late into the program, but I did manage to run 5K before the last workout. And then, as I've said a couple of times, I stopped running in the winter, and I personally find this way better to restart in spring because there's no storyline. I'm providing my own entertainment, and it's overall, I just prefer it because it's so simple. I like the fact that it focuses on time rather than distance, and so I was able to build a ton of endurance with this. Like, when you start the app, you're running for a minute, and I'd be totally winded, like, I'd be just dying, like, I can't believe it. And when you look at the app, you're like, how on earth am I going to run 30 minutes one day? But you know, you work through the app, and then eventually, before you know it, you're running for 30 minutes continuously, and it's really surprising. So yeah, you build a ton of endurance with this app. I also find that this is just the right amount of challenge. So like the first workout of the week will be really difficult, or you know, at least maybe not. Well, it depends. It depends on your fitness level and like how comfortable you are running or whatever. And so like it's obviously the hardest because you have that increase in challenge. And then you do the second workout and you know what to expect, and so it's less intense. And then by the time, you know, you do your third workout, you've built a little bit more endurance, and you're like, all right, let's see what next week has to bring. And next week will be, again, harder on workout 1, and then by workout 3, you are again, you know, ready for the next challenge. So I find that it's like just the perfect balance in terms of timing and distance. And then at the end of every thing, there's motivating confetti, so I really like it. So that is my Just Run experience. Okay, so I actually just bought it, and so just show you the premium version. So right now I'm doing the 10K. So here's the different trainer voices. I don't even think I'm going to change it. I just want to support the developer, to be honest. And then here are the different themes. Here, let's go blue. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, it's so cursed. I'm so used to the green. But yeah, so as you can see, that's what it looks like. So yeah, just wanted to show you real quick the differences. Let me go get my go-getter green, because I like that one better. So let's just do a quick final comparison between Zombies Run 5K and Just Run. So Zombies Run is an 8-week program, Just Run is 9 weeks. Zombies Run is better for your overall distance, whereas Just Run is better for building endurance, as we saw with my statistics. Zombies Run is better if you want to track your distance and pace and you don't want to use a third-party app or like Google Maps or whatever to do that. But if you care about privacy, Just Run is probably going to be more for you. Zombies Run has the benefit of having built-in entertainment. Just Run is better if you need to retrain yourself every season, if you're just looking for a lady to say, start warming up, start running, start walking, you're halfway there, turn around, start cooling down, workout complete, you're doing great. Or at the end, there's like a couple different variations of the end of the thing, like, that's a great start to the week, you know, whatever. As you can tell, I'm very well versed in this, what this lady tells me 3 times a week. So it's better if you need to retrain yourself every season. Zombies Run is $3.99 USD, Just Run is free. And then the overall final note is that I think Zombies Run is better if you care about distance, or if you really struggle to motivate yourself. Like if you're a truly first time runner, never done a 5K before, truly couch to 5K, you're gonna probably like Zombies Run. Or if you want to build endurance and want something just completely bare bones, you have your own entertainment, and you can motivate yourself to run, then Just Run is going to be the app for you. That's it. That was my Zombies Run 5K versus Just Run experiences. I hope that this was at least somewhat interesting to you, and that this can help you, you know, motivate you to run a couch to 5K, and I hope that I've given you 2 options. So yeah, that is it. Peace.